Hello and welcome to another yoga studio. I am Kat, if you haven't joined in with one of our videos before, and it's lovely to have everybody old and new here today on the mat with me for yoga to balance. So we're trying to think of balance not so much in the idea of standing on one foot or balancing on your head or anything like that. It is about finding balance within the body. So it's a very slow, very gentle, I guess, approach for today. But it's a really nice one to do if you're just feeling a little bit all over the place, to kind of bring you in, get you focused on yourself, find a little balance physically, and hopefully then that will spread mentally, emotionally, and energetically. So you feel a little bit more in one place and centered. So we're going to start by coming round to a comfortable seated position. Now that doesn't have to be cross-legged. If you prefer to have the legs out in front, or kneeling, or sitting on a block or a bolster, make sure that you are in a comfortable position. And we're going to find a little bit of length, maybe a little wriggle, so that we can settle into our space. Hands are resting then on the thighs or on the lap, and it's up to you whether you want your palms down, helping you to ground that little bit more towards the floor, or whether you prefer to turn the palms upwards. Close the eyes for a moment, and then we're going to try and bring our attention inwards and just take a little scan through the whole of ourselves. So check in with how you're feeling emotionally. Is that where you're feeling a little bit all over the place with your balance? Are you feeling okay there? Remember, it doesn't matter whether you are or you aren't. We're not casting a critical eye or a judgmental eye over ourselves. We're just simply noticing. And then check in with your energy levels. How does your energy feel? Is that kind of shifting all over the place? Are you feeling a little bit fluttery or not? And then come to your mind. And have a think about what's running through your head, how busy or calm the mind is. And then finally come to your body. Take a little scan through the body. And as you're sitting here now, you'll notice how balanced the body feels. So think about the points that are touching your floor. So that could be your feet, somewhere along the legs, your sit bones. If you're on a block or a cushion or something, we're thinking about how our sit bones are feeling level or balanced on the surface we're sitting on, and we're just taking a little check through to see whether we feel physically balanced. Do you feel like your weight is a little bit more through one foot or one leg or one sit bone? And remember, there is no judgment, there's no critical eye here, it's just noticing. And then check in with the upper body. How balanced do you feel over your pelvis? Do you feel as if you're leaning forwards a little, to the side, backwards? Do the shoulders feel like they're square over the pelvis, over the ribs? And then how does the head sit on top? And if you find anywhere that doesn't feel balanced, it doesn't matter. We could do this same thing tomorrow and you could get a totally different result. And then notice where your breath moves through your body. Any movement that happens in the belly, in the chest. Does that movement come up through the shoulders, the collarbone? And then maybe the breath starts to slow and get a little bit longer, a little bit stronger as we focus more and more on it. We're going to keep our breath nice and quiet and easy. We're not trying to force it or control it too much. Just have an awareness. And if we can keep that longer, slower, stronger breath, then great. That will help us to calm and regulate the system more. But sometimes if we try to force it, if there's, if we're feeling stressed, if we're not feeling great, not feeling balanced, and we try and force the breath, that can actually make us even more uneven and more panicky. So we just want to observe, notice, and hope that that in itself will slow and calm the breath down eventually. So we can open the eyes if we want. If you prefer to work with closed eyes, then keep the eyes closed. Take the left hand down towards the floor. Take the right arm up. And just take a little bit of movement to the side. Swap over. And we'll take a little lean on the exhale to the left. So just keeping that little flow from side to side. So we just give a little bit of movement into the spine. And then round yourself forwards. Hold on to the knees or the thighs or the shins. And as you exhale, we'll round one way. Inhale, take it the other. So we have a little seated cat stretch again, just finding that little bit of movement. And then lengthen back through the spine. Release the legs if they have been crossed. Even if they're not, you might want to give the legs a little shake. I don't know how much, I know you can't see much of my legs, but I'm just shaking my knees and my ankles out. And then we're going to, if we can, come back to sitting cross-legged. And we're going to all bring the right leg in, followed by the left. So remember, if it doesn't feel comfortable to cross, maybe take more of a diamond shape. Or if you need to, a little bit of a straddle. Okay, so again, think about keeping yourself balanced. See if you can feel balanced through the sit bones. And you might find that if you have been sitting cross-legged and we change the legs around, that balance feels a little different. And then inhale, take the left arm up. When you're ready, exhale, lean over to the right. And again, notice what happens to the balance as you lean. Do you feel like all your weight comes over to the right side? If so, push back down through the left sit bone, the left hip. So our pelvis and our sit bones stay balanced. We're just going to hold there. It might feel nice to exhale, look to the floor. Inhale, look to the ceiling. So we take a little bit of movement through the neck. Keep reaching from the fingers down to the left sit bone. So we get a nice big stretch through the side body. Okay. And then we're going to take another breath out. Round through the spine. Curl forwards. Bring the head towards the right knee. And the hands are going to go wherever feels comfortable to help us feel stable, feel balanced. And we want to check in. Have we started to roll the hips towards that right knee, lifting the left side? If so, push the left side back. See if you can find that feeling of balancing through the left hip and the right sit bone. So the left sit bone and the right sit bone. Good. Slowly ease yourself up. And we'll swap the feet over. So remember, if you need to give the feet to the ankles, the knees a little bit of a shake, give them a shake out. And then we're going to do the same thing again. So take the left fingers down. Take the right arm up this time. And as we exhale, we're going to come over to the left side. So we're taking that little check-in. Are we rolling too far over? Can we balance the weight out between both sit bones? And then remember, if it feels good, we can breathe out, look to the floor one way, breathe in, Roll ahead, look up. So while we're holding the stretch from the right hip through to the right fingers, it feels nice. Take a little bit of movement with the neck. Good, and then breathe out. Round yourself forwards. Bring the head towards the left knee. And again, we're doing the same thing. We're checking in to see how balanced we feel with the sit bones. And maybe we start to also notice how the stretches feel different on one side to the other. Maybe one side feels a little bit stiffer, a little bit tighter. And then slowly bring yourself back up to sitting. Releasing the legs out in front again. Take a little bit of movement there if it helps, just to release out with the ankles and the knees. And we're going to come round onto our fours. So we come into tabletop. Hands underneath the shoulders. Spread the fingers out, spread the palms out. Have the weight balanced through the fingers and the palms if you can. And then we're going to check in with each table leg. So think right arm, right leg, left leg. Where do you feel balanced with the table, or do you feel like your weight is in one side more than another? Remember, we're not looking, we're not being critical, we're not judging, being critical here. We are simply noticing. And then exhale, round up. Inhale, turn the tailbone up, draw the shoulders back. So take a bigger movement through the spine now. Working on the cat stretch. Exhaling to round. Inhaling to arch. Seeing if you can keep the pressure the same through the legs, through the hands, so we stay balanced, our table legs stay balanced, even though the center of the table is moving and rounding one way and the other. And then square your table out, and as you breathe out, come back to child's pose. We're going to let the hips come back to the heels. If it helps and you want to put a cushion in between the hips and the knees to give you a little bit more support, go for it. We're walking the hands back in, rounding forwards. So you can make a pillow for the hands if the hands don't come to the floor, or the head doesn't come to the floor rather. Supporting the head there, or maybe you've got a cushion or something like that that can go underneath the head. If it comes all the way down, then great. Then we're going to wrap the hands around towards the feet if we can. And then we're going to just scan through the body again, noticing how we feel in a child's pose. If we feel balanced in child's pose. Do we feel like our weight sits more through one leg, through the other leg? Does one shoulder feel heavier over the knees than the other? Or maybe we even notice that one side of the head seems to take more weight than the other. Or maybe you feel nicely balanced the whole way through. Check in with the breathing. So we got those nice, quiet, slow, gentle, easy breaths. Slowly, slowly round up. And we'll release the feet. Move my watch out of the way. Out in front. Give the legs a little bit of a shake. And then we'll bend the knees. Take the hands back behind you. And just give your knees a little roll from side to side. And the legs out in front. Sit nice and tall. And when you're ready, we'll breathe out. Stretch forwards then over the legs. So don't worry about how far you come down. We just want to find a little stretch, particularly through the knees. The knees have been bending quite a lot. So we'll just open out through the backs of the knees for a moment. And then when you're ready, breathe in, sit up, and come back into a comfortable seated position. So that might mean that you keep the legs straight out in front. If you're sitting cross-legged before, just find so we're looking for a similar position that we had when we first started. Hands are going to come to rest on the thighs again. Lengthen up, close the eyes. And then we'll take that little check-in with ourselves again, so thinking about how our emotions feel. What our energy levels are like. Perhaps there's been a subtle change, even in that little 10 minutes or so that we've been doing of focusing on the body, the self, the breath. Notice your mind. Any change that's happened there. Come into the body. See how you feel as you sit on the floor. Again, looking for those physical cues from the contact with the floor, the mat, the bolster, whatever it is you're sitting on. The balance in the lower body, seeing how you feel as you stack up with the spine through to the crown of the head, how balanced it feels over the pelvis. And then come into the breath. Notice how the breath feels now, where it moves through the body after, again, those 10 minutes, those quiet 10 minutes or so of just working with yourself. And then when you're ready, we'll breathe in, reach both arms up. And then as you exhale, bring the hands down to your center, bowing your head to your fingers. Thank yourself for taking those 10 minutes or so, just to 10-15 minutes, just to check in, take a moment to balance out, and even just a very small space of time can help to bring that feeling of grounding and balance through the body if we need it. Might not cure it, find it all, but it can help. And then we'll seal our practicing together. Namaste. Fab. Well, I hope you enjoyed that, and those 15 minutes maybe of just breathing and spending some time on yourself has given you a little bit more feeling of ease, of balance through the body, and all those other little parts of us that build up and make our full self. If you have any questions, leave them, or comments, leave them below. Remember to give it a thumbs up if you liked it, and make sure you hit the subscribe button if you want to join us another time on the mat and spread the word. All right, take care there now. Bye.